Welcome back to Shelf Indulgence, the webcast where we do deep dives into wonderful, ever-expanding world of books.
And today we're tackling a question that truly sparks lively debate among readers everywhere. How do you consume your stories? Are you a tactile page turner, a screen-loving swiper, or an ear-perked listener? Get ready for the great format debate.
That's right. We're breaking down on the pros and cons of audiobooks, physical books, and ebooks. We'll talk about when we choose which format and, of course, share some of our favorite narrators and platforms.
So grab your preferred reading device or don't if you're listening on the go, and let's get into it.
Absolutely. Well, all right, everyone. I think right off the bat, I am going to tell everyone right now that I think any version is a good version. Okay, so if you like what you like, if you like ebooks, if you like to have the handheld physical copy, and if you are an audio person, listen, we're all listening, we're reading. That's all that matters.
That's right.
Straight from the beginning, that's all that matters. So, well, let's kick it off with a personal note. Tell me, when you're starting a new book, what usually is your go-to format?
Usually, my go-to format would be an ebook just because I download the sample and I read the synopsis of it and maybe start the page. And then after, I don't usually end up reading it as an ebook, then I download the audiobook and listen to it. So I do both, actually. That's my go-to.
Yeah. Okay. I was like, and I used to do ebooks. Now I find myself doing like mostly audio, and it's ebooks I don't hardly ever download. I get them sometimes. It's hard to read them off on my phone.
Yeah,
I think because that's the only device really that I have on the go all the time with me anymore. And so then I feel like the lettering is even smaller. So, before we had what was it, the nukes? Remember when those things
Nook,
yeah, I said when they came out and I had one of those, but now I'm just audio. Yes, I said then Kindle was, big, but not.
I still will use my phone for the ebooks and then make the words really big and stuff, although that kind of messes with you.
That's what then you're like dragging. Yeah. You're trying to get to the page. Because it doesn't doesn't face the page. It doesn't format. So you're just,
So it reads a little odd sometimes.
Yeah. You gotta be, I always call it, for me, it's my desperate time when I have net, because I know I have stuff on my phone and that I could read it. If I was somewhere, stuck somewhere and I can listen.
Take the time to sit down and read.
Yes.
You can't do two things at once.
You have to. No, it has to be one of those where that's what you have. And if it's downloaded on my phone, then I know I don't need internet because it's already downloaded. So if I'm stuck somewhere where there's hardly any internet, and I can't do the audio, so it's, one of those kinds of go-to, but for me, it's audio mostly, and I'm about to say like 10% physical books. Anymore because it's harder.
At 5% because it's like purely research or illustrated type.
Yes.
Like obviously a children's book or an illustrated. Yes, it's I definitely am almost down to 5%, I think.
Yeah,
technically. And then, so honestly, it really is audiobooks that I mainly listen to because I like to do two things at once. But I always like to have that ebook downloaded just in case. And I rarely ever.
It's nice. Yeah, like it's nice.
Rarely ever.
Now we started the open, we're kind of moving into our physical book stuff, but it's also good when you have it downloaded, and sometimes we go back and forth. So sometimes I find myself listening to audio. If I have the time to get the physical book, sometimes I'll have both. Like I have a physical copy, then I have the audio version because I know I'm on the go. So then I don't have time to carry the book with me and actually sit to read. But I like to have both. I still like to get physical books, whether or not I'm reading. If you see my if you see our collection, we still have a big collection. Just because I didn't actually crack open
up on the bookshelf.
What they are.
That's what they are. I read these. I listened to them.
I listened, yes. That's fine. Listen, read. I'm gonna always say read. I read this book. It was excellent.
Yes.
So absolutely still physical books are absolutely.
So what draws you to a physical book usually?
You have a few examples of what absolutely draw me to a physical book, which is
this one,
the covers, and also I was like the sprayed edges.
Yes, and this one doesn't have the sprayed edges, but the cover really draws you. And this is a whole series of different mythic tales. And then like an illustrated book like this, like Paradise Lost, and then this one's got this. It's not sprayed, but it's painted.
Right.
And then it has the big illustrations in it.
This is a form of when you actually need a physical book.
Yeah.
Because, yes, we're on the go, we do audio, whether we're doing ebook. You don't get the same feel as a book like this,
Right.
where you actually get the actual illustrations in it or whatever they've done in there. Like you have to have.
It's gorgeous. It makes,
Yeah,
you know, on
you
the
have to have a
inside
physical
has
copy.
all the pretties, you know.
Yes, yes.
You don't
get
get
call
this
your
out of
attention.
an ebook or a.
Exactly, and there's a lot of things that get, taken out.
Yes.
That a book will actually give you. Sometimes they have that extra chapter, or sometimes there's a start to one of their new books. They all come with some
Right.
sort of little.
Yeah, a little exclusive.
So then you're like, you need the physical copy of the book. And so again, if you get both, if you get audio or an ebook version and you get the physical, nobody's judging. We appreciate
We
all.
just like books.
Yeah, I was like, we appreciate all those trophies, as Katie has said, that's
Yeah.
literally what they are.
They are trophies. Seriously. So obviously with e-reading audiobook, there's the convenience aspect of it. Turning to ebooks, what's the biggest convenience they offer that makes you reach for them? And audiobooks too. I think we could probably combine both of them.
I think, yeah, because I think even the devices, if you're listening to Kindle, they're still small enough that you can put them in your bag. Whether you're just pop it in your bag, whether it's your purse, a tote bag, whatever we carry, because some of us carry, small bags, some of us don't carry any at all, but we always carry our phones, and that's also another, form. Sometimes they're about that small. You carry that with you, and it's always portability. So it's something you can just take with you everywhere.
Yeah.
And that you can download them, as we had said, I guess, that you can download them without needing internet.
Yes,
service.
yeah, and that's very convenient.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, the portability, it used to be when you tried to listen to an audiobook, you'd have your cassette player or whatever strapped to you, or your or boombox, or
you had a Walkman and a CD player.
And so a CD player, and then you'd be holding down the lid to make sure it didn't skip and all that different. Now you have the phone and it's Bluetooth wireless to your headphones, and you can even be 30 to 40 feet away from your phone and be washing the dishes and listening to your book at the same time.
Yeah, you don't have to have it. They don't have to be in the same room per se.
Exactly.
And you're still going. It's still going.
That's made a big difference.
Oh, yeah.
For audiobooks for me, like going for a walk or,
Yes, and then not feeling like you have to carry something huge, when you're walking, you want the light feeling. And I remember like they still have those straps, I think. So whenever you wanted to strap on your arm. Yes, remember?
iPods, yeah, and MP3 players. Yes, I know, we really are. Well, it's not as bad as
just know we're not talking about age-wise. We just hear these things.
Right, yes, I've heard tales.
Yes, we've heard about this. We're definitely not aging ourselves anyways. But yes, but like that, we're talking about just, you don't want to, like a book, you can't be walking with your book. I mean, a lot of people do it, but listen, you will bump into something.
Yes.
You'll trip over something. Full disclaimer is please try not to do that, because I'm sure it's not ideal.
It is hazardous. So even at the track, I've tried to do it and I've walked straight into the fence because I missed the turn.
Walk and read. Yeah. Don't walk and read, and also do not drive.
Yeah, don't drive.
Let's listen. Let's do audio. Yeah. Let's not do that.
Yes, audio has made it very convenient.
It has made it very convenient and easy for us to also be more accident prone if we are not paying attention to what is in front of us. But I think, for sure. Do you think it's just convenience purposes?
I think it's convenience, honestly. And it took me a little bit to get used to listening to audio because I was so used to reading. Same as getting used to reading an ebook over a physical book.
Yes.
It takes time. And I made myself because it was cheaper to buy the ebook at the time. And then I could get more read. And then the audiobooks, now working at the library, we have all those programs available, like Hoopla and Libby and Cloud Library with the state library to get free books. And so financially, it's a lot more convenient too.
Absolutely. Sure. Always that we have all those apps that the library offers for you to be able to download ebooks, audiobooks, and any of those, even if you were just reading off of your computer. So that's always a nice part as well, especially because we understand that books are pricey and they are more expensive. And so it's harder for you to get a copy in your hands. And yes, I know one of the hard things for me was the feel of turning a page.
Yeah.
And so when we went to the ebooks, that was hard because I was like, it's just like a screen you're touching. So it doesn't feel like
when you're
yeah, it doesn't feel like you're, and so you can't tell, like, when you're already getting close to the middle and you know where you're at. You couldn't do that in an ebook, right? So you're just like, well, I don't know how many pages. You have to just know how many pages.
You'd hold this up and be like, man, look at how far I've gone.
Yes, right?
Yes.
It's like, yeah, look at this is where I'm at. And you can't really do that
yes.
in an ebook.
You're right. There isn't that gratification.
Yeah.
You have to find little other areas where it's gratifying.
Yes, I was like, you know what reminded me is like, I think it was Jay Lynn. She came in here the other day and she said, look at where I'm at in the book, right? And then it's
like
that
at the end.
Yes, and that's what it reminded me. I'm just like, it was the same thing. It's like you can say, hey, this is where I'm at. And my gosh, and you just can't.
That makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it's like you can't do that with ebook or audiobook. And yes, I know they do tell you where you're at and stuff, but it's just a different feel from, you're 70% into your book or whatever.
Right.
Now it's numbers, percentages that you'll see.
It is percentages.
And you're just like, well, that looks like a pretty good percent, but you just don't see, you have the same feel of like, this is where I'm at, how many pages I've read.
You missed that.
Accomplishment. Yeah. Yeah. Man, I did pretty good.
I know.
Those things.
Definitely missed that. For like a format switch up real quick, have you ever started in one format and then switched? I mean, probably convenience wise, but.
Yes. And I actually just did that recently in my last one for our book club that we just did. The audio version wasn't available because it was such a new book that I had the physical copy, but I couldn't listen to it because it wasn't available yet. Sometimes that's what happens too, is the physical copy will be available, but you have to wait for, sometimes they come out in hard copy, right? And then sometimes you have to wait for the paper copy version. And so
audio too.
Yes, and so like sometimes they don't get all put out at the same time. You have to wait for them. And so I started reading the book. And then when it told me it was available in audio, I was like, sweet,
I know you did.
And I went and I downloaded the audio version of it, and that's how I ended up finishing the book. And
big thing.
So yeah, I absolutely do switch ups all the time if I find it to be more convenient.
It's just not finding that time to be able to sit down and read and relax. And your relaxing time has become the time you're listening in those moments where you're doing another task, unfortunately.
Yes, there's no
that go.
We are definitely have become a society of on the go all the time. We're always late for something. We're always late for something. And so that is exactly
3 or 4 things
all at the same time. Yeah, absolutely. And so you're making dinner and washing dishes and listening to a book.
Yes.
While, you're keeping an eye on the kids or your pets. It doesn't, you're just trying to task all at the same time. And your brain is just trying to focus on one thing, the other, and it's really hard. So this is where this, again, portability and the easiness, the convenience, as we were saying, is to have the audio version of things for all of us who tend to lean to that a lot more these days anymore. So, but it is nice to grab a book.
Have you ever switched because of a narrator? Because you just couldn't stand it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's here we get to the nitty gritty.
I know,
yes, here we go with our audiobook version. Narrators, are they important? Yes.
Very.
Absolutely. They are very important. I'm like,
20%.
If I start listening to a book and immediately I'm like, is this gonna be the voice the whole time? Because then I'm concentrating on, is this the voice that I'm listening to the whole time? Like, oh my gosh, how
you just can't do it.
And you're not listening to the story because all I'm thinking is like, this narrator, like really? Like we couldn't get somebody who, it's not good. So please, yes, pay attention as you guys, yes, those narrators, I know, sorry, people from the book world, but make sure that narrators are very important for all of us.
Very important. And then too, if you're having trouble switching from ebooks or physical books to an audio, finding a narrator that you like would really help too, because then you can start following their books. I mean, that's being a little biased, but that might help you kind of make that transition a little easier.
Yes, because you found the voice and that's who you follow, just kind of like an author. You find an author that you obviously like and you start reading all of the books they've written. It's the same thing. You find the voice your
That you
narrator, the voice that you like, right? Yeah, and then you start following them and what other books they've read. And sometimes they'll take you to
A whole
a
different
whole
genre.
different genre that you're not
Yes.
used to or that you've never thought of picking up, but you like that voice, whether it's soothing, gruff, or accented. Yes, as we were saying, I'm like, I think yes, it's super, super important. Katie, you said that you follow
Yes,
certain
yeah, I do.
narrators.
I follow, I was trying to figure out how many I follow, but it's only about three that I really follow.
Mhm.
And then I'll just pick here and there. But Julia Whelan, I found, is just a fantastic narrator, and she does almost all of the Kristen Hanna ones. We got one here that she did, the women. She did The Great Alone, which is by Kristen Hanna, and also The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna. So I know she does a lot of hers. She also does a lot of Jojo Moyes, which is very popular, like The Giver of Stars, which was about the first founding of the libraries in rural Northwest, and the different mountains in the South where they weren't accepting books. And then the romance novels of Emily Henry, she's become real popular here.
Yes.
Lately, and she does hers. And then V.E. Schwab, which would be like, yes, she does some of hers too, like The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Yes, which was really good.
Yes, I really like
So
that.
she does accents very well too.
Right, and that's what I was like, is that that's
Yes,
important?
it's
I'm like,
very important. Accents are very important. If you do a poor accent or a poor male voice as a female, it's tough to get into.
Yes, and it's hard. I do like whenever there is a two different narrators or three. Sometimes when they have
that too.
The multi-narrators, I think it's fantastic because then it at least switches it up. I understand, and I think a lot of the narrators that we do read, if they're the same person reading the story, but in a different, like you said, they change their voice, the tone a little, and I do think that's also an important part that they can do that switch and that and it's okay and that you still enjoy the voice even so that they've changed to whatever other persona they're taking on.
Right, because I know I have heard from some people it is tough for them to follow when there's two or three narrators because they're speaking in that other person's voice when you've heard it in another, but for me it's been, that's fine for me, I think. My problem is when it's an AI narrator. Because an AI narrator, this was just brought to my attention from a member of my book club. They have the exact same cadence throughout. So, because this certain person speeds up their narration, and so when they sped it up, it's just the same thing all the way across.
Yeah.
Whereas your human narrators, they have a different cadence throughout, and it flows. So an AI narrator is very tough to listen to too.
Yes, and I know that's another
that has been happening lately.
Yes, as right now that we're going into the AI world, where it's such more, the prominent out there, you're hearing more and more about it. Which I don't, we have our hit or miss. That'll be a different episode. We'll have to talk about all that, but
oh yes,
I think it's the different, and I said whether or not I know there's a lot of us who agree with it, don't agree with it. I think it's here, and so we've got to just learn to
make the best of it.
Best choices of what we know and how to use it and utilize it properly. But absolutely, it's kind of reminds like when you're talking to Siri, right? Or you were talking to your Alexa, it's very monotone and even when they're doing funnies, it's still in that one.
This one was really close. It took me a bit to catch that it was AI, even though it was still monotone. I don't know, there was a little inflection. So they're getting better.
Right. I said, I think now as we're growing into it, I feel like it's changing a little more. So it's getting harder, which is the problem. It's getting harder to detect what's AI, what's not. But different realm. Eventually we'll get into that. But yeah, absolutely. Again, the narrator. Now, I know there was a fun thing in here, and I know you got yours, and it said, our question was like, if I had, or I should say, if we could pick any narrator for a book that we're like either dying to read or something, who would it be and why was the question? And I went a little crazy, and by crazy, I mean, I went out, I didn't pick any narrator that we have here. I honestly I said, I didn't matter what kind of a book it was, but I would like to hear Pedro Pascal be a narrator. I can picture, Mandalorian boy. I would love for him to actually read one of those books. He's got that very.
Here now, please do read the book if you're watching.
I know if you're out there, shout out. I mean, we obviously, yes. I was like, I would love to hear that. I said I went absolutely fun here.
Be awesome.
But
I know, I
didn't
didn't go fun.
Yeah, it's like he would be a great narrator, just something out of our, because I'm like, yes, and if you're talking about somebody I like, and like real voices, I do love an accented voice, depending on, you know, it just makes it feel more like you're there wherever they it's out of. So like
Yes.
there's a lot of books that are out of England or books that are out of France, you know, in Paris. And so there's an absolute accent, which we do have The Watchmaker's Daughter. This is one of my favorite narrators that I do like to hear. And so I was like, it was the only, she did the first book.
One.
But it was great.
So good with her accents. And it took a long time for me to get into the second narrator.
Yes,
but eventually I did, but oh, she did so well with that first narration.
Yes, like she's the one who got you hooked in there. I mean, great. She did a great job.
Yes.
And so that's why, and I think it was after that, it was because I was following the story, you know, once you get hooked into the story.
You get hooked.
And then they change, unfortunately, and I get it. Sometimes, you know, you can't find the people to come keep doing that, or they have other things happening. And so they end up changing their narrator in the middle of a series or something, and it's just hard. It's hard for us. It's just like a character when watching a movie.
Right.
And they change the character later on after a certain amount of seasons, and you're just like, oh, no,
no, you're not the same person.
Yep, and it's hard to get past. You'll eventually like them. Yes. Because of the storylines and stuff, but it's not the same as what you originally started with, right?
Speaking of accents, another really good narrator is, and I'm gonna murder this name, but it's Saskia Marlaveld, and she does a lot of historical fiction. She does all of Kate Quinn's usually, and she also does, well, speaking of historical fiction, she does a lot of English fiction, Scottish, Welsh, you know, different. So I would say she's probably better with those types of accents. I'm not for sure as we get into the Orient how well she'd do, but I'm sure she'd do great. But she does a lot of historical fiction with that, which I like. So she's one that I follow. And then Rebecca Solar. She can do an accent, but she's better with just regular speaking. But she does a lot of our junior fiction type series, like Caravel by Stephanie Garber. She does both Caravel and the Once Upon a Broken Heart series.
Okay.
And she did Marissa Meyer's series where she took all the princesses like Cinderella. Yes, and she turned them into, I mean, put them in like a science fiction type world, but also fantasy. And she did all of that narration too. So that actually is what really got me into listening. It was during COVID and I was listening to all those junior fiction series. Yes, and so those three are my favorite, the Julia Whelan, Rebecca Solar, and Saskia Marlaveld. I'm gonna murder that.
I was like, I think it probably done better than I would have done myself trying to read that. And I think they're lovely. It's just hard. If we don't know, like if we don't hear them saying their names, then we can't really pronounce them great. And we apologize for that, but we love the voice. It's okay.
I listen to all their books.
Yeah, I'm like, it's okay. Yeah, absolutely. So you got all your favorites. I don't have a specific one. I just go more on accent purposes.
Because that makes me more biased and you're more open to other genres then. And
it is still hard. Yeah, but I'm like, it's still hard if you find that one narrator it's just not great. And it just doesn't give the story justice. So sometimes I want just imagine my own voice and how I'm picturing what I'm picturing when I'm reading it. So I've been more apt to doing that. When I first started, I was following the narrator once I found that really good voice. Then I found myself doing that, and I said, I can't just be stuck on the one. I said, I need to just get the book, just listen to it and then go from there. And I said, if I didn't care for the voice, that's fine. But I'm trying to just find like focus on the story, not just on the voice, but you know what, it's hard.
It's hard.
It's the same thing as, they say, don't judge a book by its cover. It's hard not to do those.
It is. I was like, they make the covers pretty on purpose.
Yes, it's very calling. And this is again, why we tend to collect some of our books, you know? Yes, we need them to show them off.
That's right. Our trophies.
We and hybrid reading, we were kind of talking about it already. We talked a little bit about it, but we do tend to pick up, maybe do you pick up do you do all three? Do you find yourself doing ebook, audiobook, and a physical book?
Yes, all the time. Like I actually, most of the books on my bookshelf, I have all three versions. unfortunately.
Yeah,
But yeah,
no,
I'm
very fortunate that you're
That's
like.
true. I'm fortunate to have all
Yes.
three versions. Yes. If I love the book, a lot of times I'll have all three. Even before I even fully finish the book, I'll make sure I have all three formats. And for me, that's one, because if for some reason in the future we don't have our phones or something,
Yeah.
I have the physical book. Or if I don't have the audio, then I have the ebook. And yeah,
Yes, again.
it's a very, I guess, a hoarder's way of doing things, but.
You know, we call it, she may call it hoarding, but we call it a wonderful collecting of
There we go.
great literature in different formats. Listen, if her ebook gives out, she's got the physical version of it. If her
Ready for the
audiobook gives out,
apocalypse.
or she like, there's no power running and your phone eventually dies, guess what? It's important to have a physical
right.
copy as well.
Well, when the power was out a few months ago, I had to lean back on my physical book.
Exactly. So
Because my phone was dead and I couldn't get my computer to work. So
yeah, your internet's down and
That's
you know,
right.
you can't, again, if it's
Yeah.
not downloaded, which we don't tend to do that often. We don't actually
I
download the
don't,
stuff. We
yeah.
just listen to it on the go. So
Mhm.
unless it's actually downloaded, because then it takes up space on your phone, right? So then we're
Right.
like not downloading so much
Mhm.
stuff. Again, physical, ebook, audiobook,
They're
listen,
all
and all wonderful versions and all important when the time is coming through that we
That's
need
right.
it. So we're
Yes.
not judging anybody.
No.
We agree and you do what you do for
That's
for your
yourself. And if you
self-sanity.
can't get into ebook or audiobook, it doesn't matter. You still, I mean, you're still reading. And ditto for if you can't get into a physical book because you're used to ebook and audiobook, you're still reading.
Yes.
And you're still using different parts of your brain with the audio and.
Yes, because you're still focusing, you're still paying attention. So, I mean, if we're getting the knowledge, the words in and still going on an adventure with whatever, whether we're listening, reading, or we are, lighting ourselves with our ebooks, I think you are on the right path and I don't believe there is a wrong way to do any of that. So.
Yes.
Well, I was like, again, as usual, we end up having to, we can go on again, but it was truly an illuminating debate, honestly. It's clear that there's no single, like I said, right answer when it comes to consuming your stories. It's all about what works best for you in that moment.
Yes, absolutely. Whether you're a devoted physical book collector, an ebook enthusiast, or an audiobook aficionado, the most important thing is that you're engaging with the stories.
Yeah.
We truly hope that our discussion gave you some new perspectives or affirmed your own perspectives and made you feel good about your choices.
Yes, yes. And we'd love to keep this conversation going. So tell us what your go-to format is. Do you think mix and match? Are you firmly in one of those camps, or do you share favorite narrators and platforms with us?
Right. You
let us
can
know.
join the conversation on social media using hashtag self-indulgence and hashtag format debate. Let us know your thoughts and maybe even challenge ours. We really do want to hear from you.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Just message us or send us a message.
We have a lot of fun with this.
Yes,
You
it's
can give
great.
us ideas too.
Yes, we appreciate, because then, we want to continue with different things that are happening around us. So we thank you guys so much for tuning into us. And again, use our social media. We appreciate you spending time with us.
We'll be back next time with another deep dive into the literary world. Until then, keep reading however you choose to do it.
That's right.
It's about your choice.
Bye-bye.